So welcome everyone to our last panel of today, entitled Halal Horizon Unveiled, Governmental and Chamber of Commerce Perspective. As we talked since the morning, the global halal market is growing very fast. It has a phenomenal growth, and it's driven by the rising consumer demand for halal products everywhere, not only in Muslim countries, but also in non-Muslim countries. To navigate this dynamic landscape effectively, strong collaboration between private business and government and Chamber of Commerce is needed. Today, esteemed panelists represent pillars supporting the halal, supporting the private business. They are the one laying the infrastructure for the business and supporting them grow. We have actually two speakers from Muslim countries and two speakers from non-Muslim majority countries, so we'll have different perspective on the subject. Allow me to start with Dr. Mohammed Reza Karbasi. Dr. Mohammed, Chambers of Commerce act as a vital support system for business within their jurisdiction. Such services can encompass guidance on navigation regulation, access to financing, or connecting with potential partners. Understanding specific support systems available can be highly valuable for halal business seeking to grow and thrive. What resources and service do Chamber of Commerce in your region offer to business operating in the halal industry?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much, Dr. Ashraf Tambudi. I'm very thankful to inviting me to take part and participate in this important gathering here. I am very proud to thank and appreciate the respectful Russian Federation, whom they made arrangements for having this important event in this. If you permit me, just I will touch upon some important method that private sectors and especially national chambers of commerce has to take the advantages in this respect. As you know, the tendency to use halal products and services has increased drastically in recent years around the world. Due to this, more and more suppliers enter this industry, and so that this industry has become a profitable business sector that has expanded from halal food market to Islamic tourism, financial affairs, Islamic lifestyles, halal services, medical, cosmetics, and etc. The OIC member countries are considered to be the main halal market with an estimated value of $3.7 trillion in 2020, which is estimated to reach $4.7 trillion in 2024. As a group, the member countries of the OIC have a high potential for further development of the halal industry due to the existence of a halal-friendly ecosystem, increasing purchasing power and increasing population. The importance of the halal industry is not only in its economic potential, but also because of its catalytic role in achieving a number of sustainable development goals and prioritize mentioned in the OIC Action Plan 2025, as well as helping member countries to achieve higher standards of living and welfare. Several OIC member countries and its affiliated institutions have already recognized the importance of this industry and have implemented a wide range of policies and programs that can address major challenges ranging from the halal certification to halal products and services promotion. The OIC member countries recorded $275 billion exports and near about 338 billion imports. That is, they have pointed out a trade deficit of $63 billion in 2021. It means in 2021, we witnessed that $63 billion are the trade deficit on halal issues within OIC member countries. Only 18% of this import was provided by the member countries, and the rest is supplied from non-OIC countries. Only few countries among the OIC countries were among the top 20 exporting countries in the world in 2021. The most products imported by the countries are medicine, vaccine, wheat, palm oil, sugar cane, sugar beet, corn, rice, soya beans, animal feed, meat, milk, and cream. In the halal trade and investment indices, the countries of Malaysia, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Indonesia, Egypt, Iran, Morocco, and Kazakhstan are ranked respectively. Governments are not a good business person, we believe, and should not intervene in private sector activities. They should play the facilitator role without interfering in the functioning of business enterprises. In fact, the function of the government is to monitor the business environment and adopt macro policies to improve the trade. It is estimated that 60% of the economic activities in Islamic countries are handled by the private sectors, and it's controlled by the national chambers of commerce. If we want to highlight the role of national chambers in promotion the halal business and how they can assist companies to penetrate in the global halal market, at first we should know about the amount of involvement of national chambers in their respective countries' economy. Chamber of Commerce play an important role as local coordinators in promoting business activities and representing chamber members. At least at local level, chambers members often meet to discuss and attempt to shape policy that relates to the businesses and overall economic environment. Chambers of Commerce can act as a bridge between governments, small businesses, corporations from one side, and their foreign counterparts on the other side. Chambers of Commerce have been involved in managing the national economy and have worked with governments while striving to maintain their economic and political autonomy. They have been driving forces in modern economy. Overall, Chambers of Commerce are essential organizations that contribute to the growth and success of business in the modern economy. National chambers can play a crucial role in developing and promoting halal trade by boosting the awareness on education, research, standardization, market access, trade promotion, policies making, and development. In regard with the certification and standardization, some measures have been taken in OIC countries. If we remember that we have had a resolution by the heads of the states, the summit of OIC member countries in 2008 in Senegal, that they have proposed the national chambers with the cooperation and collaboration of the Islamic Chamber of Commerce could take the responsibility of certification body, and a special working group should be formed in order to review the issue related to the halal certification, auditing method in each country, and to introduce a homogeneous standard. Certainly, halal certification by the Chambers of Commerce of Islamic country under the umbrella of the Islamic Chamber will lead to the convergence and alignment of activities related to the halal market and resulted in development of trade. We suggest that Islamic Chamber can provide quality infrastructure for halal certification for OIC member chambers and monitor them as an upstream organization or accreditation body. Of course, it doesn't mean to deny national certification bodies, but they will operate within a harmonized framework, applying the same standards and methods. However, we should not forget the government role in supervising of processes and the right execution of rules. In this case, government should monitor the assignment of the halal certification responsibility to private sectors under the patronage of the Islamic Chamber. Global harmonization of halal quality infrastructure is necessary to streamline trade and create a healthy environment for business operating in the halal industry. In addition, national chambers or their affiliated organization can act as a certification body in each country, and they may form a wide network of halal certification bodies to exchange their views and experience in order to arrange the international events like exhibition and conferences like this today. It should be noted that the national halal logos and their entities should be preserved, but they have to comply with the certification process, the homogeneous standard and regulations, so that all certification bodies among this network can recognize each other because they apply the same methods, processes, and standards. For homogeneous standards, it is proposed to apply the standard approved by Standard and Metrology Institute for Islamic Countries, SMIC, and it should be encouraged to apply these standards as a reference for their monitoring and auditing activities, and they have to be unique and homogeneous standard for halal issues, so that bring many benefits to us, a universal standard for halal trade and economy. In order to coordinate matters related to the issuance of halal certificate, the Islamic Chamber will hold annual meetings with affiliated halal certification bodies and make the necessary policies in this regard. These meetings can include the opinions of the governments to facilitate the process of halal trade in the OIC member countries and even non-OIC countries. National chambers, in order to analyze and promote the export in the halal industry, can utilize their facilities to connect the industry, gather professionals and academics who have the expertise in halal trade, and offer valuable insights and first-hand knowledge. Chambers of commerce can use their facilities and resources to determine the vision of the country in the halal market, develop halal roadmap, and encourage the members to achieve that vision. This is the strategy of the national chambers of commerce of every OIC member countries, and the responsibility of Islamic Chamber, whom they should be working together to expand the halal activity within OIC member countries. Once again, I would like to thank the organizer of this conference, and especially the special thanks goes to my dear brother Dr. Ashraf Tambuli from Islamic Chamber Halal Services and his colleague for invitation of our participation in this forum. I thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Karbasi, for a very clear roadmap that's built by the Iranian Chamber of Commerce. Moving on to Dr. Khaled Abdelazim, joining us from Egypt. Dr. Khaled is Executive Director of Federation of Egyptian Industry. Dr. Khaled, governments typically play a significant role in supporting and propelling the halal industry forward. Such initiatives can range from financial incentives to infrastructure development, playing a crucial role in shaping the future of halal trade. Can you tell us about the Egyptian government actions they are taking to cultivate thriving halal ecosystem within the region? Dr. Khaled, we cannot hear you. Still we cannot hear you.
Is the voice clear now?
Yes, it is. Thank you. Yes. Please go ahead.
Thank you, my dear friend Ashraf. There is an echo. Thank you very much for inviting me to part of this very respectable panel and highlight on what are the efforts that are exerted in Egypt to promote the concept of halal industry. The Egyptian government, in partnership with business associations working with Egypt, including my federation, which is the Federation of Egyptian Industries, are exerting some efforts in relation to setting standards for halal industries as well as a certification scheme for halal industries. We have started with just one certification company, and at the Federation of Egyptian Industries, we have called for multiple service providers so that we ensure that there is some enough infrastructure facilities there to encourage businesses to obtain certification on one hand, and on the other hand, to recognize the importance of such certification with the emerging markets for halal industries. We do not only represent the voice of traditional industries, yet there are other services that are affiliated to our federation, such as the Chamber of Real Estate Development, which is in charge of establishing tourism parks and tourism clusters, in addition to healthcare services chamber that is providing healthcare services to clients from Egypt and from all over the world. We're trying in partnership with the government to promote the concept of halal industries through awareness campaigns. The last activity was conducted almost 3 months ago in partnership with the Islamic Chamber, and my dear friend Ashraf Tambouli was with us there at that time. We have worked with the exporters associations, exports councils, so that they can recognize how the halal industry is expanding in non-Muslim countries as well as Muslim countries. For the time being, I cannot say that the majority of businesses in Egypt in fields that are very much related to halal industry, such as food industries, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals, in addition to tourism and even the banking sector, are in full awareness of the opportunities that are there in global markets for halal industries. This requires from us further workshops, further awareness campaigns, further matchmaking and B2B forums, so that we can introduce the concept properly to those businesses, because businesses all over the world are searching for additional market niches. And we believe that halal industry represents a global market niche for companies that can obtain these certificates. We are trying as well to have the lessons learned of other countries that have exerted efforts, such as UAE, Malaysia, Indonesia, and other countries that have already established some institutional setups for the halal industry. And those lessons learned can shed a lighthouse for our businesses and for our even governmental efforts to have similar setups, so that we can encourage not only the business community but also the government to put in place proper policies that can foster halal industries and consider it as part of their negotiations in trade agreements and bilateral agreements with countries all over the world. If we take, for example, what Malaysia has done, such as the establishment of Halal Industry Development Corporation, the HDC, to drive industry growth, and the introduction of the Malaysia Halal Certification Scheme, which is recognized globally for the time being, and hosting the World Halal Summit and Expo to promote trade and investment. Or if we consider what the United Arab Emirates has done, such as launching the Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center to oversee the halal sector, and the collaboration with international partners to develop halal standards, and what Indonesia has developed in the implementation of Indonesian halal product assurance system, and the development of halal tourism initiatives to attract Muslim visitors as well as non-Muslim tourists, and the active participation of Indonesia in the organization of Islamic Cooperation Halal Expo. All these efforts still need to be educated to other countries, and we have no sensitivity at all from learning from what other countries have done until the branding of halal industry is looked at and is considered properly in our business community and at the governmental level.
Well, thank you, Dr. Khaled, for shedding some light about the activities of the Egyptian government. You shed some light about the Export Council supporting companies to export and participate in international exhibition. You shed some light about lobbying with the government to issue legislation and embed halal in the trade agreements. Moving on to Dr. Muhammad Al-Ansari, Global President of Indo-OIC Islamic Chamber of Commerce and Industry, joining from India. Dr. Ansari, expanding into new markets can be a significant growth driver for halal business, especially in a minority Muslim country. Understanding these collaborative efforts can be beneficial for halal business seeking to expand their global reach. How do governments and Chamber of Commerce in your region work together to assist halal business in accessing new markets and overcoming the challenges associated with international trade regulations?
Hello. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, the engineer Ashraf. It's a very good question from the non-OIC regions. In our region, especially government and Chamber of Commerce play a crucial role in supporting halal businesses to access new market, navigate international trade, regulation. Firstly, governments often establish regulatory frameworks and standards that define the constitute halal products, ensuring consistency and credibility in the marketplace. These regulations provide clarity, assurance, and consumer and facilitate the export of halal product by meeting the requirements of importing countries. Chamber of Commerce complements government's efforts by providing practical support and resources to halal businesses. They often organize trade missions, exhibitions, networks, events to connect halal producers with potential buyers and investors from around the world. Additionally, the Chamber of Commerce offer advisory services to help businesses understand and comply with international trade regulation, including custom procedures, labeling requirements, and certification processes. Collaboration between governments and Chamber of Commerce is essential to address the unique challenges by halal businesses in accessing a new market. By working together, they can streamline regulatory processes, advocate for recognition of halal certificate standard internationally and facilitate market access for product. This collaboration approach empower halal businesses to expand their reach, promote economic growth, and contribute to the development of halal industry on a global scale. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ansari. Moving on, Ms. Fawzia Peer, Vice President, Minara Chamber of Commerce, from South Africa, and again a minority country for Muslims, yet it's a country where halal is actually flourishing. So, Ms. Fawzia, the halal industry is constantly evolving with new trends shaping consumer preferences and market opportunities. What are your predictions for the future growth and development of the global halal industry?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is truly an honor to be addressing you today at this prestigious ICHS Halal Conversion Workshop. Here in breathtaking Kazan, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers to bringing together such a diverse array of perspectives to delve into the opportunities within the global halal industry. Today, I have the privilege of sharing insights on the crucial topic of halal trade dynamics, private sector synergies, and trade organizations within the broader context of our theme. And that is halal convergence, uniting perspectives for sustainability. Now, honored delegates, the private sector and trade organizations serve as vital engines of economic growth and development. Now, their collaboration is not just beneficial, but essential for fostering a sustainable and, of course, an inclusive global trade environment. Having been in government for 30 years, I must say, as the Vice President of Minara Chamber of Commerce in South Africa, I have witnessed firsthand the positive impact of trade organizations on our economy and the remarkable growth of the private sector, particularly within the halal industry in our country. Now, the Minara Chamber of Commerce stands as a beacon of excellence in South Africa's business landscape, tirelessly championing the interest of its members and serving as a catalyst for economic growth and development. Now, it was founded under the visionary leadership of Ibrahim Patel. The Chamber has carved out a niche for itself as a driving force behind the advancement of the halal industry. Now today, South Africa boasts a rich halal heritage with certification efforts dating back on the 1940s. Indeed, tracing the trajectory of South Africa's halal industry back to its roots is essential to understanding its evolution and its significance. Now, the journey began in the 1940s when the first halal certification efforts took root, making the nascent stages of what would have later become a thriving industry. Now, during this period, the focus was primarily on certifying meat products, laying the groundwork for subsequent expansion into other segments of the food industry. Now, over time, the scope of halal certification broadened, encompassing a diverse range of products beyond meat, including dairy, grains, and processed foods. Now, this early commitment to halal certification laid the foundation of the industry's growth and resilience, establishing South Africa as a pioneer in halal production and certification on the African continent. Now, the rigorous standards and practices developed during this formative period set the stage for South Africa's emergence as a global leader in halal manufacturing and trade. Now, today, South Africa's halal industry stands as a testament to the enduring legacy of those pioneering efforts, with halal certified products accounting for a significant position of the country's consumer market. Now, it's noteworthy that over 60% of products in our supermarkets shelves are halal certified. A significant achievement, I think, compared to other African nations. Now, the industry's journey from its humble beginnings to its present day prominence reflects the unwavering dedication of stakeholders across the public and private sectors to uphold the principles of halal integrity and excellence. Now, as we reflect on this rich history, we are reminded of the resilience and, of course, the ingenuity that have defined South Africa's halal industry over the decades. It is this spirit of innovation and collaboration that will continue to propel the industry forward, driving economic growth, fostering inclusivity, and of course advancing sustainable development goals for the generations to come. Now, you must remember that the halal sector in South Africa currently stands at an estimated worth of 45 billion rand, approximately 2.43 billion US dollars. Now, despite our Muslim population constituting only 2% of the total demographics, ladies and gentlemen, this underscores South Africa's position as a global leader in producing and certifying halal products, enveloping the widespread acceptance and understanding, of course, of halal principles across both Muslims and, of course, also non-Muslim communities. Now, despite having one of the continent's smallest Muslim populations, South Africa has emerged as a powerhouse in the halal sector. It stands among the 5 largest producers of halal products worldwide. Now, from a government standpoint, South Africa recognizes the economic significance of the halal industry and actively supports initiatives that promote halal trade and investment. Chambers of commerce, like the Minara Chamber, plays a pivotal role as bridges between businesses and government, advocating for policies that foster growth, innovation, and inclusivity. Now, the South African government, through the TIKZN, that is Trade and Investment KZN, where I come from, has been at the forefront of driving initiatives aimed at bolstering the halal industry, also recognizing its potential as a key driver of economic growth and job creation since its inception. Now, TIKZN has been steadfast in its commitment to nurturing the halal sector, spearheading strategic interventions to enhance market access, promote investment, and facilitate trade as well. Notably, in 2022, TIKZN played a pivotal role in organizing the inaugural World Halal Trade and Investment Conference, and Minara was one of them included in the teamwork. So it was a landmark event, I must say, that brought together industry leaders, entrepreneurs, investors, and also policymakers to start the cause for the future of South African halal industry. Moreover, the South African government's engagement in the halal sector extends beyond domestic borders, as evidenced by its active participation in international forums and conferences, of course. One such notable event was the Malaysian Global Halal Summit in September 2023, where South African halal bodies showcased their expertise and commitment to the global halal industry. Now, the presence of South African halal bodies at the Malaysian summit underscored the country's dedication to fostering international collaborations and expanding its footprints in the global halal market, of course. Now, through that bilateral engagements with Malaysia and other key partners, the South African government aims to position the country as a gateway to the African continent for Malaysian enterprises, leveraging the opportunities presented by the African Continental Free Trade Area to create a unifying market of unprecedented scale. Now, by harnessing efforts between public and private stakeholders, South Africa is poised to capitalize on the immense potential of the halal sector, driving economic growth again, creating employment, which is our challenge presently, and also advancing sustainable development goals. Now, the investment made by TIKZN and the South African government underscores their unwavering commitment to the unlocking of the full potential of the halal industry, both domestically and also on the global stage. So now, looking ahead, the potential of the halal market is staggering in 2021. Muslims worldwide spent an estimation of about $2 trillion across various sectors, with the halal food and beverage sector leading the way. So the projected growth of the global food market reaching US dollars of about $44.5 billion by 2030. So now you can see that the industry's growth trajectory is impressive, with the global halal food market expected to reach almost $4 trillion by 2023. So all these figures reflect not just a market segment, but a global phenomenon driven by consumer preferences and cultural identities. Now, these statistics not only underscores the importance of halal trends, but also highlights the broader trends and projections shaping the global halal market. Now, at the present juncture, ladies and gentlemen, innovation standing at its core is the synergy between the halal private sector and the trade organizations. Now, I see my colleague was asked that question twice on trade organization and of course, the private sector. So grounded in the mutual pursuit of shared objectives, sustainability to promote growth and enhance market access, nowhere is this synergy more evident than in the halal sector, where collaboration between businesses and trade organization is not just beneficial, but imperative for unlocking the industry's full potential. But why is this synergy so crucial? That's a question we should ask ourselves. Let me try. So the answer lies in its multifaceted impact. Firstly, and I'm talking about trade organizations, that the question that was asked. So firstly, it facilitates compliance with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, a set of ambitious targets aimed at addressing global challenges and fostering sustainable development. So by aligning their efforts, the private sector and trade organizations can leverage the collective responsibility to advance SDG targets related to responsible consumption and production of good health, well-being, and climate action. So the halal industry is not just growing, esteemed colleagues, it's evolving with a keen focus on green growth and ethical consumption. The use of blockchain technology in halal food sustainability is a testament to the industry's commitment to transparency and traceability. So continuing our discourse at this Kazan Forum 2024, let's delve deeper into the practical manifestations of synergies between the private sector and the trade organizations within the context of the theme Halal Convergence, Uniting Perspectives for Sustainability. So, in the realm of halal food production, agribusiness firms can collaborate with halal certification bodies to ensure sustainable farming practices that comply with halal standards, enhancing food security and environmental stewardship. So when we talk about green technology adoption, we talk about private sector that can partner with environmental trade groups to integrate green technologies in the halal product manufacturing, reducing the ecological footprint and promoting the use of renewable resources. Then when you look at the healthcare partnerships, pharmaceutical companies can work with halal health organizations to expedite the development and distribution of halal certified medicines and vaccines, ensuring ethical production and broad access. When we talk about educational programs, sponsorships, corporations can find educational initiatives in partnership with trade organizations. We talk about trade organizations to enhance halal industry knowledge and skills, fostering a workforce equipped for sustainable development. Then we look at infrastructure development. Again, trade organizations, construction firms, and trade organizations can collaborate with halal-compliant infrastructure projects, vital for economic growth and aligned with sustainability goals. Again, when we talk about trade organization, we say technology and innovation hubs, where tech companies can join forces with trade organizations to create innovation hubs that foster halal industry. So I'm giving it the trade organization answers that moved out of my colleague. Then again, trade organizations, when we talk about supply chain organizations, manufacturers can work with logistic trade organizations to optimize halal supply chains, making them more efficient, resilient, and sustainable, of course. Then also financial inclusion programs. Financial institutions and trade organizations can develop programs to extend halal financial resources, to underserved communities. And then, of course, on waste management solutions. Waste management companies can partner with environmental organizations to develop halal compliant recycling programs. Then we go to cultural and heritage preservation. We talk about businesses can support trade organizations in preserving cultural heritage, promoting halal tourism, fostering cultural exchange. So these examples, ladies and gentlemen, illustrate the potential for the halal private sector sustainability compliance to create impactful and sustainable outcomes within the halal industry. And then by establishing global aligned sustainability models, the halal private sector can significantly contribute to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And they can do it in various ways. Firstly is to be part of the responsible consumption and production. And secondly, towards good health and well-being. And then climate action. And also by serving as a global benchmark for ethics and sustainability, private sector halal standards can complement each other within international standards. Please tell me when I have to stop. I was told 15 minutes, so I'm going for it.
Okay. You can finish the 15 minutes.
Also, let's take a closer look at how the synergy between the halal private sector and trade organizations translate into tangible outcomes. Market access and standardization. So trade organizations play a pivotal role in setting and enforcing industry standards. What they do is they ensure that halal products meet stringent quality and safety requirements. Capacity building and knowledge trade sharing with trade organizations, they serve an invaluable sources of expertise. Also, market intelligence research. This is where trade organizations conduct their market research and analysis. And then also on collaboration, marketing and promotion. This is where trade organizations collaborate with businesses. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to go on to trade organizations again. So I just want to say, I strongly believe the South African government's approach is the beacon for others, demonstrating how strategic support of the private sector tailored for trade organizations and in particular the halal industry can lead to a thriving global presence. So together we will continue to build these bridges, ensuring that our nation's economic expansion is as diverse as it is robust. In conclusion, the synergy between the private sector and trade organizations in the halal industry is not just a partnership, remember that. It is a strategic imperative for governments to drive sustainable growth, fostering innovations, and opening the halal industry up for global markets. So by working together with the government, the halal private sector and the trade organizations can unlock the full potential of the global halal industry. Thank you
Well, thank you, Ms. Fawzi.
for your attention.
Thank you very
And I
much.
look forward to the insightful discussion and fruitful collaboration that lie ahead. Together, let's pave the way for a brighter, more prosperous future for the global halal industry and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fawzi. The result speaks for itself. I mean, 60% of the products in South Africa is certified halal in a country with a population of Muslims is about 1%. That's a great success, I would say.
Yes, in fact.
So, yes, I agree. Moving on, Dr. Kabazi, all my esteemed panelists talked about lobbying and talking with the government to establish regulation. What's the relationship between the chamber in Iran and the government to establish decision and economy and infrastructure?
Thank you very much. It's a very good question. Fortunately, we have succeeded by negotiating with the Iranian governments towards supporting the private sectors to involve into halal businesses. The power of national chambers differs from one country to another country. When we look to the OIC member countries, I personally studied that near about 20-25 chambers are very powerful in towards the bargaining power with their respective governments. One of them are Iran. Fortunately, during the last 10-12 years, when the SMIC standard has been approved for halal products, we have been started our negotiations with the Iranian governments, and fortunately we could succeed, and we are collaborating with the governments in order to issue halal certification with the support and controlling of the government organization as well. I believe that the same scenario can be repeated in other OIC member countries. Definitely, as I have already mentioned in my speech, the governments are not a good businessman. They should leave this job to the private sectors, and the national chambers are the best place for involving them to these halal businesses. So in this respect, we could succeed, and I believe that the other countries can do it, and we are ready to give and provide our experiences regarding the negotiation with the governments towards cooperation and collaboration for halal issue. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Karbasi. Moving on, Dr. Khalid. Effective collaboration between government and Chamber of Commerce is essential for long-term success. I would like to extend this and add the consumer organization also to work with Chamber and the government. Can you tell us about how can you work together towards establishing a halal ecosystem for the future? Dr. Khalid, your voice, please.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Of course, building a more long and sustainable halal ecosystem for the future requires collaboration and coordination among various stakeholders, including with the government, Chamber of Commerce and Industry, businesses and consumer organizations, and to finally sure what can they do together. We can stand on certain points such as developing supportive policies and regulations. The government plays a crucial role in creating an enabling environment for the halal industry. They can establish clear regulations, standards, and certification processes for halal products and services. Government can also offer incentives and support programs to encourage businesses to invest in halal-related activities. Fostering industry collaboration is another point. Chambers of commerce and industry can facilitate collaboration among businesses and provide a platform for networking, knowledge sharing, and joint initiatives. Particularly when we speak about traceability across the value chain, there has to be collaboration between companies and sectors themselves. They can organize trade fairs, exhibitions, and conferences focused on the halal industry to bring stakeholders together and promote innovation and showcase halal products and services. The third point is related to promoting education and research. Consumer organizations and educational institutions can play a vital role in raising awareness about halal products and services. They can conduct research on consumer preferences and behavior, market trends, and industry development. Consumer organizations can also provide guidance and information to consumers on halal standards and certification, empowering them to make informed choices. Encouraging business participation is another point. Businesses should actively engage in the halal ecosystem by obtaining halal certification, which should be an easy process, and adhering to halal standards and investing in research and development of halal products and services. They can also collaborate with consumer organizations to gather feedback, understanding consumer needs, and enhance their offerings accordingly. Another point is support market access and trade facilitation. Governments and chambers of commerce can work together to facilitate market access to halal products and services. This can involve negotiating international trade agreements, as I have mentioned earlier, reducing trade barriers, and promoting halal certification recognition between countries and harmonization of standards between countries. They can also support businesses in accessing export markets by providing trade-related information and organizing trade missions and providing incentives for foreign trade for halal industries. The sixth point could be encouraging sustainability practices, as it has been highlighted by our colleague from South Africa. And my last point is fostering consumer trust and protection through consumer organizations and business associations together that should work together to build trust in the halal ecosystem. This can involve ensuring transparency in labeling, providing accurate information about the halal status of products, and addressing consumer concerns promptly. Consumer organizations can advocate for consumers' rights and protection, while businesses can actively engage with consumers and incorporate their feedback. So in general, by working together, the government, chambers of commerce, businesses, and consumer organizations can create a more robust and sustainable halal ecosystem that meets the needs of consumers, supports economic growth, and foster innovation in the halal industry.
Well, thank you, Dr. Khaled, for your insights. Very insightful. Moving on to Dr. Ansari, I would like to make a bit of a touchy comment. Maintaining an integrity of halal industry is paramount for consumer protection. And unfortunately, we have been seeing fraudulent certificates, fraudulent labels on products. So would you please shed some lights on the chamber activities with the government to ensure the integrity of the products for the trust of the consumer?
Thank you so much, Engineer Ashraf. For that, combating, the deceptive halal claim and protection consumer from misleading practices require a concerted efforts from the government agencies and the Chamber of Commerce. Governments play critical roles to establishing and enforcing regulations that govern the halal industry, including labeling requirements, certificates, standards, and penalties for non-compliance. By implementing robust regulatory framework and conducting regular inspection and audits, governments can deter fraudulent activities and ensure the integrity of halal products in the marketplace. Chamber of Commerce complement government's efforts by raising awareness amongst businesses and consumers about the importance of authentic halal certificates and labeling. They can educate their members and about the risks associated with the deceptive practices such as false claim of halal compliance and counterfeit certificates marks, and provide guidance on how to verify the authenticity of halal products. Furthermore, Chamber of Commerce can collaborate with the government agencies to provide agencies to develop a public awareness campaign and consumer production initiatives aim at promoting transparency, trust, and halal industry. By working together, they can create mechanism for reporting suspected cases of fraud, misconduct, investigate complaints, and take appropriate enforcement actions against violators. Overall, the collaboration between government and Chamber of Commerce is essential to combat deceptive halal claims and safeguard the interests of commerce, interests of consumers. By sharing information, resources, and expertise, they can strengthen regulation oversight, enhance market transparency, and uphold the integrity of halal supply chain for the benefits of the stakeholder involved. Thank you so much, Engineer Ashraf.
Thank you, Dr. Ansari. Moving on, I think Mr. Jose, you have answered all the questions, so before wrapping, I'll ask each one of my guests to have a 2 minutes final comments, and start with Mr. Jose. Final comments? Any final comments?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not given any questions, but I would like to say something in closing, which I have written. Just 1 second. know that in KZN, we are planning, I just can't find that, it won't be long, a halal hub. And the idea of the halal hub, the concept of the halal hub involves a substantial industrial property development and that is dedicated to the local production and processes of fresh produce. So it's going to be a couple of thousand or millions we have to spend on that halal hub that's going to come up in KZN. And I think most of these things that I spoke about will be part of that engineering, that process. But my final remarks here would be, and I thought it's important for me to talk about the halal hub, so I have covered it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say finally that harmonizing halal standards and certification processes is crucial for market confidence. And South Africa's leading halal certification, we have Mr. Sanha sitting there, offers both local and global certification schemes, ensuring compliance and international regulations. So ongoing audits and robust certifications frameworks helps us definitely to maintain integrity, and that is very important, of our halal products on the world stage. And then, in summary, the synergy between government bodies and chambers of commerce is integral to the halal industry's sustainable growth. We are committed to innovation. We are committed to ethical practices, and we are committed to standardization, not only to meet the current demands, but also to pave the way to a prosperous halal market future. So in conclusion, South Africa is not only embracing the growth of the halal industry, but it is also shaping its future through strategic partnerships, technological advancement, and a steadfast commitment to ethical and sustainable practices. I thank you very much for inviting me all the way 22 hours to be here in Kazan. I want to thank Mr. Omar, who's been navigating this whole thing for a few weeks, and he was super. Everything was done beautifully at the airport to here, and my family was quite worried. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Fawzia. Moving on to Dr. Ansari. Any final comments?
Thank you, Engineer Ashraf. In regards to halal awareness, it is my observation that what activities globally we are adopting for promotion of halal product, there is a need, we go into the micro level workshop and seminars for public awareness, and it is required to be a collaboration with the government and Chamber of Commerce. They can go micro level means for example, you take about India. India is very highly populated, and we have more than 40 states, provinces. So one province is like, I talk about Uttar Pradesh is one of the biggest state in India that is populated similar with Pakistan. So there is a need actually, if I organize one seminar in India, will not be like more effective. So there is a micro level, seminar and workshop is required. So OIC and GCC and ICHF also can be, start thinking about with the collaboration with all the Chamber of Commerce and government agencies to do like as a project, because it will not only aware our Muslim community as well as the other community also. They are our prospective, the customer for business and industry. This is all about, we are thinking that to be, more discussion on these issues. And here our panelists also, they are Chamber of Commerce. They are very good discussion here. We learn a lot of things. And once again, thank you for organizing and inviting us here to speak about halal. Inshallah, after conclusion of this event, we will see how we can utilize the latest, the technological AI and ML and lot of technology things to be adopted for promotion of global halal idea and to the world level. Thank you so much, Engineer Ashraf Saab, Omar Saab. Thank you, Kazan Forum.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ansari. Well noted. Dr. Khalid, moving on, final comments, final remarks. Dr. Khalid, your voice, please. Yes.
Yeah, is it clear now?
Yes, it is.
Great. So in addition to what my colleague has just mentioned, I want just to reiterate the importance of establishing a unified global halal certification framework. This is very important so that each individual country does not build up its own framework, and then there are no synergies between different frameworks from countries. The second point that I want to raise is the credibility of certification bodies. Because if you leave it to governments, and if it is just an income generating source or a funding possibility for governments, without maintaining the credibility of these certification bodies, then this will not bring in any value addition to the concept of halal industries. On the contrary, this will be considered a burden upon businesses.
Yes.
The last point that I want to raise is the question of transparency in the halal supply chain and building consumer trust. And here we need to think together of accommodative rules of origin for halal products. We need to consider, as countries that are in favor of halal products, how can we work together in the accumulation of rules of origin so that one certificate could be obtained for a product that has a supply chain from different countries that could make it accessible in all countries that have been in the process of the development of that product.
Well, Dr. Khalid, I would say spot on remarks. Thank you. Moving on to my last but not least speaker, Dr. Karbasi.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Ashraf. As you know, SMIC has been created for harmonization of the standard, halal standard within OIC member countries. The dear speakers, they have mentioned some in their statements that we have to have the harmonizing our standards from one country to another country in order to issue the halal certificates to enable the private sectors to export their goods and products to that country, and in vice versa, import from that country to the origin. My humble suggestion is that at present we have the unique standard of halal with us, which has been prepared a few years back by the cooperation and collaboration of all OIC member countries. This document has already been accepted and approved by heads of states, and it is being requested to all member countries to apply this standard for their auditing the goods and products within the countries. But unfortunately, nowadays, if we look into the reality of the OIC member countries, we see that in each and every OIC member countries, they have their own national standard on halal issues. Let's back to the reality of the Muslim nations. If we wanted to be united, if we wanted to be unite for all the collaboration and cooperation, we should try to diminish the difficulties and problems which are faced by the OIC member countries, especially to the private sectors. Let's what has already been accepted and approved to be practicable by all the OIC member countries with the involvement of the private sectors in order to expand the halal businesses within OIC countries. In my belief, I do not I believe that we do not need to harmonize our halal standard, because we have the harmonized standards and accepted OIC halal standard with us. We should go and accept that and work based on the approved standard as well. I finally, with thanks and appreciate my dear brother Dr. Ashraf Tambuli, his colleague Dr. Muhammad, and Mr. Omar for all the arrangement whom they have made for inviting us and organizing this important event. And I look forward again, inshallah, to see you soon somewhere. And we are inviting you to come to Tehran to be with us within this year, that we are going to be hosting the 14th meeting of General Assembly of Islamic Chamber in Islamic Republic of Iran. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Karbasi. Thank you, dear attendance, physical and online. Thank you, my dear speakers. And with that, we come to the conclusion of this panel and this day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.